When I look at my career and I look at times where I ended up leaving my job, it usually was because of a bad boss. We've all had those. You know the type, right? Hey, don't do this, don't do that. That's not the right way. You got to do it my way. You know the kind. You know the boss. They make you feel like you're on the fast train to Miseryville, and you're looking at it and you're like, man, can't make this go away. It's like a stubborn stain on my shirt. It's like bang, right there. But what did Maya Angelou say? People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Emotions play a starring role in our behavior, how we feel on a day to day basis, and whether or not we're going to bring our best selves to work every single day. Being a practicing leader requires us to be able to bring our best selves to work, but sometimes emotions make it tough. It's of no surprise then that emotional intelligence and effective leadership go hand in hand. This week on the Practicing Leader podcast, we're going to go ahead and be talking about emotional intelligence. I'm your host, Parul Bhargava, and let's discuss. So, what in the world is this emotional intelligence thingamajig? According to the brilliant scientist Daniel Goleman, it is all about being aware of, controlling, as well as expressing those wild emotions that each and every one of us goes through. As leaders, having emotional intelligence is like having a superpower. It helps us handle relationships with others like we're true empathetic superheroes. When you connect with employees on an emotional level and lead with emotional intelligence, let me tell you, it makes a world of difference in how effective you can be as a leader. When your employees feel heard, they'll feel motivated, and you'll be considered the productivity guru of the office. Emotions are those wild cards when those relationships, like spicy ingredients in every single work situation. When you're dealing with others and managing through any sort of conflicts, you have to go through the roller coaster and the ride of emotions that you're experiencing, as well as what others are experiencing, to make sure you can show up as your best self. Now, picture this: the managers that had the biggest impact on my job satisfaction were the ones who rocked emotional intelligence and had effective leadership skills. They were communication wizards and empathetic ninjas that were there every single day to help me feel like a superstar. I'm willing to bet you've had similar experiences. Am I right? I know you have. Now, let's talk about the tough times. We've all had them, especially during this pandemic. Organizations rely on their employees to come out stronger on the other side, to be ready and be able to face all of this on their own. And you know who shines on those days where they expect everyone to bring their best? The engaged and committed employees. They're like superheroes saving the day every single day. They bring their best and help boost productivity across the board. It's just what they do. But oh boy, I can remember those managers that lacked emotional intelligence. That just reverberates to my core all the times I've had to deal with folks that are not great at it. It made the days drag on, it made the days go forever, and it was almost as bad as watching paint dry. And when that happened, my productivity tanked. It went from soaring to crawling, and I just wanted to do the bare minimum, escaping the interactions with my manager and do whatever I could to make sure that I could come out whole on the other side. And I can tell you, that is not a recipe for success. More recently, universities have been doing studies showing that disengaged employees actually hurt organizations overall. Talk about yikes. But enough about the doom and gloom of those bad experiences. Now let's talk about, is there a solution for this? Hold on to your seats. There is good news at the end of the tunnel. That's those same researchers that show that disengaged employees took away from organizations also show that managers and employees that exhibit empathy actually boost productivity for all those around them, and is closely tied to emotional intelligence. Managers who actually show empathy at work actually are considered more effective by the superiors while also helping their employees reach better job results. So, friends, emotional intelligence is your secret superpower that's available to you, and this superpower can be learned. It's like discovering treasure at the end of a treasure hunt. I've got 4 fantastic tips that would help you build your emotional intelligence to allow you to be a more effective leader. Tip number 1: it's like putting on your superhero hearing aid in order for you to be able to hear and tune into other people's perspectives, listening to what they have to say, and making sure that they know that you heard them. Tip number 2: connect with your employees on a personal level. Be kind-hearted, be empathetic, be ready to recognize and support the efforts that they're working on. Be there, be present, and allow yourself to be seen supporting them. By being that caring person in the workplace, it'll allow them to flourish. Tip number 3, uncover your employees' motivations. Be that detective that figures out exactly what drives your employees. It will allow you to be able to make sure that you're speaking their language in a way that they understand and what actually motivates them. If you're talking about, hey, I'd like to give you more free time to be able to go work on this project, but they actually don't want that, they want something else, you're kind of missing an opportunity to be able to give that employee what they need to be able to do their best work. Last but not least, tip number 4, seek to understand others and yourself. It's like embarking on a journey to understand everyone's perspectives and be able to take them in without judgment. Increasing your self-awareness is like finding your very own superpower. By seeking to figure out what others are going through, as well as being aware of what that does to you, will allow you to leap over most emotional obstacles without a thought. But hold on a minute, folks. There's something else you need to know. Leading with emotional intelligence is not just about you. It's about creating a culture in your organization that fosters growth. Imagine a workplace where you can have tough conversations that remain honest, productive, and respectful. A place where you can feel like you truly belong and have ownership in what you're doing and delivering great work every single day. So let me ask you this. Are you ready to invest in yourself and invest in your emotional intelligence to make sure that you are capable of delivering great work every single day? When emotional intelligence takes center stage, something incredible can happen for you. You'll get better results, productivity will soar, engagement increases, and organizations become forces to be reckoned with. When everyone brings their best selves to work every single day and is empathetic and is able to show care for their fellow person to the right of them and to the left of them, you can get great results. So, folks, get out there. And I mean you. Get out there and make sure that you're embracing your emotional intelligence and doing your best to make sure that you are delivering on your best self each and every single day. If you have any questions about this podcast or any other, you can always feel free to go ahead and drop me a line. You can go ahead and give me a call at 206-651-4312 and leave a message. Or alternatively, you can send me an email at questions@thepraxingleader.com. I'll go ahead and weave it into whatever conversation we have in the next podcast and make sure that your question gets answered. This has been the Praxing Leader Podcast. I'm your host, Parul Bhargava, and I'll talk to you next week.